He could do it over the phone, couldn't
Yeah, why he sitting in traffic?
It was pretty noisy, but if there's something y'all need, we can certainly.
What we're deferring to is our attorney is stuck in traffic on his way from Douglasville, so it's gonna be a few minutes before he gets here. But we're gonna go ahead and start. Item number 1. This is a work session. Item number 1 is the opioid funds request, $10,000 for family treatment court.
Actually, the 10,000 was the drug task force.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And he's not here?
No, he's here. I just seen him a second ago. He went to the restroom.
Okay. So I guess we'll wait on him just a minute. Unless we want to go ahead and, Judge Bryce, you want to go ahead and talk about your family treatment court and drug court?
Sure, I am representing Judge Roper today too for drug court. Obviously, juvenile court runs our family treatment court, which is designed to treat parents that have a drug addiction and reunite the families together. And then Judge Roper is over drug court. And so both of our courts are treating addiction. As part of the opioid settlement funds, that is included as an authorized use of those funds, specifically for the treatment purposes and for payment for drug testing. We submitted a letter, and in that letter, or the second letter that we submit, the first letter actually just said we want money. The second letter, we actually got a little bit more detailed in what we actually have and what deficit we would be, we're operating under. Currently, both of our grants are from the Court of Accountability Court Judges grants. They're state funds. They're not meant to sustain the entire program, and they have what we call match funds, as you are aware from the last time I asked for money from you all. We have match funds, and that's a percentage, basically, of what the state gives out. For drug court, their total award was, their operating budget was $118,000. The grant funding only covered $76,000, so that left them with a $42,000 deficit, which they're going to have to come up with those funds as match funds. As for family treatment court, our total operating budget right now is $54,000. Our grant funding was $33,000, so we have a $21,000 deficit right now, which would kind of equal out our match. And so what we would be asking for is at least that amount as far as the funds, the settlement funds that you have to cover those expenses. If you will notice, for our treatment budget, as far as drug court, their treatment is $87,000, but the grant is only funding 50% of that. And our treatment and family treatment court is $36,000, and the grant awarded us $30,000 in treatment. And as for drug testing, the drug testing for drug court cost $31,000, and the grant awarded $26,000. For family treatment court, the drug testing is $18,000, and the grant only awarded us $3,000 for drug testing. And obviously, to cover that, that's not going to be as often as drug testing as we would like. And so we have actually gone to another company who is cheaper, and the results come back faster. But we're still going to be operating at this deficit right now. So when we operate as a deficit, drug court is a little bit different. They've been relying completely on other grants and trying to find other sources of income. Family treatment court, just as I use in mental health court, we do have a nonprofit organization kind of behind us where we do fundraising. For example, family treatment court has a barbecue fundraiser on Friday to help make up for some of those funds. But we don't have a stable pocket of money that helps us pay our bills. We're constantly waiting on these reimbursement checks to be able to pay our surveillance officers and those sorts of things. And so with this money, there's not much you all can do with it other than apply it towards some type of drug treatment funds and something of that nature. And both of these accountability courts, the drug court and the family treatment court, actually fall under that umbrella. And so that's why we are asking that you consider giving a portion of that money to our drug treatment courts because we are operating on this deficit and it would greatly help us out a lot. So I can answer any questions that you all may have as it relates to our courts. I can try my best with drug court, but I should be able to answer all of your questions in family treatment court.
Is that just Haralson's fiscal responsibility, or is that between us and Polk?
Well, this is circuit-wide.
Okay,
Yeah, both of these courts are circuit-wide courts.
so some of those numbers where you would need the county to contribute, could that be split with Polk or no?
Yeah, well, anyway.
Even though I know y'all are kind of
Any
housed
way you
here
all
now.
work it out, yeah, is fine. Obviously, like with mental health court, Haralson County is our fiscal agent. Polk County is our fiscal agent for family treatment court, and Polk County is the fiscal agent for drug court. And so that's the way it's set up, but we are circuit-wide, so all of our expenses are going into both counties, and this is the total budget that we have for both counties. Now, breakdown participant-wise, it gets a little, it varies, because drug court we may have a lot of Haralson County participants one month, and we may have more Polk County participants another month. It just kind of depends on how that goes. Right now, in family treatment court, we have 13 participants, I believe, currently, which is one of the biggest family treatment courts really within the state. We just have a lot of participants right now, which is great because we've had 2 graduate recently. So that's pretty good numbers actually statewide. There's a lot that are operating with only a couple of participants. And with drug court, I know that they were somewhere around the 30 range, I believe. But they have a lot that we're currently assessing, trying to get into those programs.
What you read off several numbers, what is the total shortfall?
For both courts, it would be $63,000.
When's your fiscal year end?
Our fiscal year, is going to end in June 30th. So
You're
we'll start back
63
over.
short for this year?
This is operating off our new grant.
What, ma'am?
This is our new grant, so
This is
gonna
for
be
next year.
This is for next year.
That's correct.
Okay, you're good for June 30th.
We should be good for June 30th, yes.
All right. So we've
I
been
say
going
that
along year in and year out. Why this year have we upped our grant request to where the state's only giving us less? I mean, why all of a sudden are we having this shortfall? We haven't had it in the past.
Well, so
per se.
for accountability courts, we are always having a shortfall. We will always have that as far as our grant is concerned, because the grant is never going to give us 100%. So when we have a shortfall, what we have to do is we have to rely on our other options. We, like for example, in family treatment court, our coordinator, Ms. Shackelford, is actually a grant writer, and that's why I hired her to be our coordinator so that she can go out and get us some more grants. So we're always looking for grants and things to make up for that. We had gotten some grants last year that we were not eligible for again this year because all of the things change. There was a big grant that we were going to apply through DFACS for family treatment court, but we didn't have the correct numbers, so we had to apply for that, and our numbers didn't get back in time. So we're always looking for ways to make up for that match funding that we will always have. In the past, we have, and like for example, this year, we are doing fundraisers and things like that to kind of get us there, but we never have this pocket of money where we are confident that we're going to be able to pay our bills. That's just not the way that these state grants work. They're never going to give us 100%, and so we've got to put in that fundraising and other avenues to be able to make up for the money that they don't give us. Now, the reason I'm coming to you now is because this opioid settlement is new. I don't know that we've gotten that before, and so it is very specific on what you can use those funds for. And so we want the commissioners to know for both this county and Polk County that you can use that for us, and we are putting those resources back into this community to try to reunite families for family treatment court. We have a lot of our participants are in inpatient treatment facilities, and when they come out, they need a stable outpatient treatment that's going to help them, be successful in their recovery, and that's where you get your success rates. The statistics actually show that a participant who is getting out of outpatient and is involved in a family treatment court or a drug court has a 70% greater success rate than someone who is just getting out of rehab and just, put back out on the streets. And that's because we have all of those extra things that we offer, such as our counselors, our surveillance officers, our constant drug tests, and just the accountability that follows through on that. So we are putting those resources back in the community, and that's why we would ask for these opioid funds.
Can you tell us a little bit about the opioid fund?
The opioid funds are the ones that are coming from the class action lawsuits against the companies producing the opioids. And these lawsuits, these class action lawsuits are starting to settle. Currently, Haralson County, I believe, has received $288,000 in one deposit. And then we've received some small deposits, $2,000 or $3,000. And every time they get ready to settle one of these suits, we have to go back in and tell them we want our part. And so we have a little bit trickling in here and there.
We get a settlement from every company that sold the opioids over the period of time. It's not just one big settlement that they waited. It's just each company settles, we get our part. And we have to request it.
And
And there's certain uses that it can be used for. It's got to be for drug addiction, opioids, or something to the drug.
Prevention and
Everything that she's asked for, treatments.
Yes.
And
Yes,
it's free money. It's
It has to be specific too, and that's why I'm coming to you with specific numbers so that it actually goes into the drug treatment and the drug testing, which are the, two of the very specific uses that you have here.
we can't take this money and go buy a dump truck. It's gotta be for drug prevention or
so
something.
could, we share, 60-40 with Polk County on basically?
The
39.83.
amount of money that you're gonna get from the settlement is different from the amount of money that Polk County is gonna get from the settlement. You each get separate percentages of the overall settlement.
But it's all restricted to what it can be used for. So, regardless of how much they get or how little we get or whatever, vice versa, it's still restricted for the use of drug treatment. So I would hope that those numbers would be enough to do the ratio split that we're accustomed with between Polk and Haralson.
I don't know that those numbers are gonna equal your ratio.
no,
your split.
the number, the amount of, that we receive may not, but I think what he's saying is, could we go to Polk and ask them to pay their 59 what percent?
Of the
The 63.
total record.
You can ask Polk anything.
Right, right. But I just think that's a way to address it.
Certainly, and I just, so you know, we have sent them the same letter. Now, obviously, I don't want to bind ourselves in, because if you want to give us all, we will take it all, because we're always, every year, we're at this again. How do we support our drug courts, and how do we support our community? And the same thing, how are we going to fundraise? How are we going to, so anything that we get, we'll be able to put to good use, even if, it's more than this year's, we'll be able to use it next year. We are constantly, with drug court and family treatment court, we're working on reimbursements. So sometimes we have to hold paying out, for some of our supplies and things until the next reimbursement check. So both of us need a pocket of money that we, have to be able to, kind of stabilize each. Family treatment court is relatively new compared to drug court, but, so far, we've been able to manage and get by, but we're always pulling our hair out at the end of the fiscal year just to make sure that we have that. And so this would be a great use of the money, since it's so limited, to get the resources directly back into the community.
Are there any stipulations on the time frame that these funds have to be spent by that you're aware of? I didn't think so, but I just wanted to make
I'm
sure.
not aware of any, but
Okay,
We're not aware of any.
okay, all right.
I appreciate y'all's budget crunching that you have to do, and where you've taken this program. I can't recall, though, in the past being here that this has ever been asked of us. that there's been a shortfall. And I just was wondering, there is some money from the opioid, treatment that's available, and
Yeah, something
know,
like this.
I'm sure we will use it, I would think, to help benefit your courts. But when that money's gone and we've not been asked for anything in the past, are we starting a cycle of?
Well, we've never asked, we are asking for this now because you have the settlement funds. And we would not be asking for this if you didn't have the settlement funds. We would be looking at other ways, as we constantly are, to try to make up for this money. But because you do have this money, we want you to know that this is we want your money. As I say all the time, I want your money. But this is not a habit of us coming in and asking for money to sustain our courts. We want to sustain our courts through other ways and through as many ways as we can, but we treat opioid addiction just as the settlement fund is designed to do. And so because we do that, we think that, this is a good way to meet our deficit that we have. We're going into this with a deficit as with any other accountability court in the state, because they're not giving any accountability of the court in the state what they ask for, because these are match grants. So every accountability court is starting out on July 1 knowing that they're going to have a deficit if they don't figure out some way to make up this money. Some counties are just covering that money, where we've never asked you to cover that money, and I've never asked you, nor do I hope I ever ask you to cover any of our match funds money, because we're going out and trying to apply for other grants. We're doing other fundraisers. There's lots of things that we are doing to try to cover that expense. But because you have the settlement money, we are asking for that because that's not something you always get, and we want to take advantage of that where we can. So that any other grants that we get, we can put in the bank account and use it, out on a rainy day, because we all have those at times. And so we do want a good, solid funds in our account.
This is a real good program. My recommendation would be that we fund our 40%, since it is next year's budget, basically, and check with Polk County and see if they'll fund their 60% roughly. And then if they won't, we revisit it.
Sounds good.
All right, great, thank you.
Now, it's Mr. Sweat. Officer Sweat, it's your turn.
So I guess, I'm here with my hand out too today, so. It's been about 4 years since, that Haralson County has put some money into the drug task force. I think it was about 5 years prior to that. Allison may have a better memory than I do. That was before my time, so. But the last infusion 4 years ago was $40,000, and we were able to make that last for 4 years. So coming today to ask for $10,000, and I hope that we're going to be changing some things with our grant, so that we'll see what the future holds with that. But currently, our grant funds that we get are $172,432 a year, and all of that money goes to salary reimbursement. So we don't take any of that money at the task force currently. That may change here in the near future. Paulding County is actually looking at giving up their portion of the grant money to come to the task force for operational funds, which hopefully will put us in a better position with our operational funding in the near future. So we'll see how that works out. That's not a done deal yet. So, but talked with Allison, talked with the chairman here recently about trying to get another infusion into our operational account. And she said some of you guys may have some questions about some of the accounts that we have. Currently, we have 4 accounts. We've got a seizure account, and that's got a little less than $100,000 in it. That money's not ours. That's money that has been seized, but it's in the process, so it's not ours yet. The forfeiture account has got, it's a little less than $300,000 in it, and, this is money that is now belongs to the task force that we can use for, to buy equipment and vehicles and travel, training, all that good stuff. We used about $250,000 in forfeiture funds to build our new building. So Paulding County paid the other half of that. This is where the bulk of the money that we spend comes from currently. Our operational account, which is any other funds that is not forfeiture money, goes into our operational account. Currently, our operations account has $169.86 in it, so that's about at the bottom of the barrel. So, but we have to keep those funds separate from the forfeiture money by law. So that's the reason it's got its own account. And then our other account is our PPI account, and we just reload that as we need it from our forfeiture funds. But so that's where we are on our accounts. We would like Haralson County to put $10,000 into our operational account. There are things that when you look at these type of programs, and you got folks out there now that look at law enforcement and they don't like forfeiture. This is one of them things that we have to do it the right way. We got to account for every penny, and it's got to have good optics. With Haralson County putting money into our operational account, that'll show that Haralson County's got skin in the game with this. So that'll help with those optics. With forfeiture funds, you can't pay your employees. We don't pay our employees anyway. Those are folks that are attached to the task force from Haralson County and Tallapoosa and Paulding County. Those guys pay their salaries, but we do provide them with like a clothing allowance every year. Those type things we don't like to pay for with forfeiture funds because it looks like you're paying an employee when you're not really, but those types of optics is what I'm talking about, that that we try to avoid the negative side of those things, just because we want to do it the right way, and it look to anybody that looks at it like we're doing it the right way. So that's where we're at today, and y'all got any questions?
And let me state that this is something that could come out of that opioid funds.
That's what I was about to ask.
Basically what it's used for. That's what it's for.
The forfeiture fund, you're talking about the civil asset forfeiture fund?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
and what is that, what do those forfeiture funds go to? What can y'all use those funds for? Is it just just whatever y'all?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's, you want to avoid looking like you're policing for profit. And currently, everything that we buy or use money for, excuse me, it all comes out of that forfeiture account. So, I mean, whether you're talking about buying vehicles or buying guns or, you know, office supplies, computers, bullets, Band-Aids, first aid stuff, everything comes out of, that forfeiture account for us. So,
What would, you gave us your operational balance, you broke.
yes, sir.
So, where would you, what would you be tomorrow? You got an account, you gotta be transferring money over to your operational. Surely you're not running it that low with no means of income coming in.
Well, we don't transfer that, like I said, only money we've got coming in is what we seize. That goes into our seizure account. Once that goes through the process, and it goes in, then it goes into the forfeiture account once the court order comes to us and says, that's now y'all's money. So,
When's your fiscal year? End of June?
yes, sir.
So you're good with that $100 balance right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right.
But most of what y'all spend your money out of comes out of forfeiture, right?
That's correct.
That's what y'all basically operate on.
The vast majority of our stuff, yeah.
And is this 10,000, is it to carry you through FY '22, or is it to,
That'll be for FY
that'll be for 20,
'24 for
or
us.
excuse me,
This is-
23,
yeah.
24, yeah. Okay.
And we can use the opioid money.
Yeah, that's one of the restrictions that it can be used for. Any more questions? Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 2 is Ward's appointment. I'd like to make the recommendation that we appoint Garrett Brubaker. The previous chief was on the wards, and I think this chief should be too. So, any more discussion on that? Okay, I whisper leases, item number 3. They have 3 towers in the county that we signed a 5-year lease for. Wasn't it 5 years? It was a year lease and then it re-ups for 5 for each year, wasn't it?
If I'm not mistaken, this lease is strictly for the one that's up at the, behind the livestock pavilion, where the
Maybe
tower.
this is the only
This is
one
the
that's-
tower lease,
that's
the
due
land
now.
zone.
Okay,
Am I right?
okay. And what is it, $100 a month?
Yes.
Anyway, the lease is up and they've asked to renew the lease.
What's the going rate on, on our towers? What do we normally, what's the going rate on rent? And I would ask, Robert, are those assessed, are those on, are those an assessed value on when we have those towers? Or things that are stuck on like our water tanks or whatever, there is an assessed value on those?
That falls under the personal property.
Personal property, okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Robert. What are we getting for some of our,
I checked, the water authority is getting $100 a month for the, towers on the water tanks.
okay? They were asking for exclusive rights to that tower. You know, we'll let people get, you know, you can rent, several companies can rent off the water tower.
Yeah.
But if you make that tower out here, that you're speaking of exclusively for them, then are we showing a favoritism there? Should we
They
not
actually-
open that?
They, you know, this is a catch-22. They got a $200,000 grant from the county, but they used, and it was given to them to spend inside the county. And this is part, when they built the tower, they used part of the $200,000 to build the tower. and I've thought about it since you and I talked. It's either, if it's our tower, we took it back, the 200,000 that we gave to them. So actually, it is really their tower because they got the money. It was a grant.
No, that 200, I believe, came out of our splosh. Yeah,
think so.
we gave it to them through splosh.
Yeah, in the form of a grant.
Right. Just conversation for us to think about if you wanna make it exclusive for them or not.
Okay. Any more questions about that?
How many people actually utilize the Alice for service? I mean, how many?
There's a good many. Do you know how many customers they have in? It's, they've got a good many. I don't know how many. but-
Okay. I know if this was one of those things, there was like 15 people that lived right around the you know what I'm saying? Okay.
No, it's bigger than that.
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
Now,
Okay,
this is their main tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are paying rent on 3 different properties every month. I know that, so they've got 2 others they're paying on as well. This is just the Macedonia Road tower we're talking about.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Item number 4, there's permit fees. You want to tell us about it, Tabitha?
And you do have a handout with that.
What it is we hadn't went up on permit fees in
Since
15 years.
2002,
Yeah, for
and
21 years.
So, my name's Tabitha, I'm the permit clerk for the county. The Haralson County Department of Planning, Zoning, and Permits would like to request an increase in permit fees in order to align with the surrounding counties and, cities' permit fees. In front of you, I've provided a copy of the current permit fees and a copy of the proposed permit fees that our department feels would be beneficial for our county. When researching the surrounding cities and counties, the city of Bremen is charging about 44 cents per square foot. Now, that's just the base of the permit. They then add on electrical, mechanical, plumbing like we do. And the first page is gonna be the commercial, the one that's 2 pages, that's for residential. The 44 cents a square foot for residential, inside the city limits of Bremen. The city of Tallapoosa is currently at the same rates we are, but when I spoke with, the mayor yesterday, as soon as we go up, they're gonna follow suit. I spoke with, Polk County, they're charging 40 cents a square foot heated, and then, 20 cents a square foot unheated. On average, that's about 45 cents a square foot if you add heated and unheated space together. They also do a roofing permit and a review fee, which we do not do a review fee on anything except commercial permits. We don't do review fees on residential permits. I also spoke with Carroll County today, and their average is about 48 cents a square foot, and she said that they will be going up soon. So, and then Paulding County, they're at 30 cents a square foot, which is kind of low, but then they add extra fees. They add deck fees and a review fee. They also go by valuation, so your house that is 1,000 square foot, they're not charging you at all, but then you have a house at 5,000 square foot, they're charging a lot more. So, theirs was a little tricky. I had to call them and have them explain to me how they actually permit. But for the most part, between 40 cents to 45 cents, I would say would be average, for everywhere around here.
Any questions?
Commercial's all by evaluation, so it's just really determined on valuation.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Item number 5 is health insurance broker of records. What we'd like to do is change the brokers on our insurance. We still keep the same insurance, the same company. It just be changing administrators of the, I guess it'd be different administrators to do the insurance for us. And we had a real good rapport with the last one we had, but they changed hands. And with that, service kind of failed. And we think we found a new broker that would do a lot, much better job. And we'd like to change the brokers. It's not changing the insurance. It's the same insurance, the same company, the same deductibles. Everything's the same. We're just changing the administrators. Any questions? No. Okay. Item number 6 is July 3rd. The 4th of July falls on a Tuesday this year. What we want to recommend is that we shut down 3rd, and it won't be a paid holiday, but if any of the employees want to use a vacation day, that they can use it. From what we understand, a lot of people are going to take off the 3rd, and why not just go ahead and close the county offices the 3rd and have a 4-day weekend? Any questions? Okay. I can't say that word, Eric. Say it again.
Suzukaku.
Okay. Circle.
Suzukaku Circle is, it's over there off the Buchanan bypass, Suzukaku, and then, let's see, Richard Lusk and Kyle Williamson own the land across the street. We didn't even know we owned the road until somebody complained that there was an abandoned car there, and we got a bill for $250. I'm not pointing fingers. But yeah, we didn't even know we owned that road. This should have been handled probably 20 years ago whenever that property was sold out of the authority's name. That was one of the original sections of, what was the Georgia West Business Park. So we're just humbly asking you guys to take 600 and some odd feet of road off our hands and take it over, because roads are not what we do well.
And this is not something that was just built. It was built to the specs of the state and the county when it was built. So this is the type road that we would accept. It's not just a dirt gravel road. It's fixed up to our standards, up to our.
Let us know when you get it resurfaced.
Well, we'll need a budget request, sir.
And it's not inside the city, it's inside the county. The city touches, if you see that the right-hand corner there, that's how the city got access to the industrial park.
Wow.
So it is still outside the county. But from what I understand, we've had some interest since we sold the industrial park to Intrametals. There are some interest in some port people that's looking at this land, and it will fill up in the near future.
I think so. And if they want to be a sewer customer, the city of Buchanan, we'll leave that up to them, but we'll probably make them annex that section.
Yeah, the city of Buchanan won't run water to them or sewage unless they are inside the city, so they're probably gonna be inside the city. Any questions?
Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. Item number 8, Tallapoosa 4th of July fireworks. Every year we make a donation to the city of Tallapoosa to help them pay for their fireworks. I think it's $500.
Yes, generally, they ask for it with the possum drop this year. They've asked for it both times. We've done that like one other time, 3 years back, but
They like for 1,000 for this one or 500 for both? Or they just, I thought I read it was 1,000 they was asking
I
for.
thought it was 500.
Well, we've been given 500.
He's
Okay,
asking for
They
1,000
would like to
this time.
have, 1,000 for this one,
that's what I thought I read.
not
Yeah.
just for, they would like for us to increase what we're giving them for
Big grand finale.
both, I guess.
But I think we've always got them to 500, haven't
We've given them the 500, going back through the records, we've given them the 500 generally once a year. We gave them 500 for the possum drop.
we? Okay.
Why say give them 500 and that, because we know they're gonna come for the possum drop too. Then we'll be at 1,000.
All the county residents enjoy this.
It is a
too.
countywide thing, both of them.
Yeah, I have, yeah, no problem.
Any more questions? Well, that concludes the work session. Y'all wanna take a break or move right into the special call meeting?
Move right down.
Okay. This starts a special call meeting. Ms. Couch, you wanna do the invocation, then we do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Dear Lord, thank you for this evening, thank you for the rain that you've sent, for the help you've given us and the freedom. We ask that you forgive us our sins, Lord, and help us to be a light to those around us, and make this county better, Lord. And we thank you for your blessings, and it's in your son Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll make a motion to waive the reading of the previous minutes.
Wait just a minute, we wanna
Got
touch on something else first.
Oh. Thought you was waiting on us.
Tonight, we got one of our commissioners has earned his core certification. That means he has took 8 hours of County Government 101, 8 hours of County Government Finance, 8 hours of County Government Law, 8 hours of Economic Development, 8 hours of Ethics, 8 hours of Human Resources, and 12 hours of Leadership Institute, and Property and Appraisal Taxation, 12 hours. And it's my pleasure to award this to Mr. Commissioner John Daniels. Certified County Commissioner.
This one's a little harder to do. Well, I'm just gonna leave it on here, maybe. Chairman Ridley, several years back, became certified county commissioner. And over the last 3 years, I believe, he has also gone on to finish 3 specialty track certifications. And I'm not gonna read all them to you. But I'm gonna give you an idea on a couple of them. He has received county operations and management, which is capital improvement, county insurance and risk, management and human resource responsibilities, audit, budget, and then he has also received the intergovernmental relations, which deals with constitutional officers, navigating laws, federal and state, resolving conflict, working with other boards and authorities. And he's finished the 3rd one recently, but we don't have the sticker on that yet. So we're gonna present this to Chairman Ridley tonight. And we're proud of him because we've never really had commissioners do what they're doing with the training.
Thank you, man. Now we need a motion to approve the agenda.
Do we need to add, are we gonna deal with the opioid tonight, or is that something we wanna hold off until the next meeting to discuss?
We need to add that.
Okay.
Item number 10. No,
Or 9 and then make.
and we move executive session down. No, we don't. We need to, let's leave it like it is. We've got a reason for putting the executive session
Okay.
in that position.
Okay.
So make the opioid thing item number 10.
Yeah. And item number 11, I'd like to add ordinances and marshal and other duties.
As 11.
Yes. And that will be after the executive session.
Is that it?
So we need to add the, drug task force on that opioid request at this time.
Yes, you want to put that at item number 12?
Well, they're both coming out of the same,
I think we can probably handle that in the same.
Yeah.
the what,
I think we can probably handle that in the same.
Okay.
same
Just
number.
opioid funds.
Okay, and one reason that we're adding so much to this meeting tonight is the first Tuesday in July falls on the 4th of July. We're not gonna have a meeting on the 4th of July. So bear with us, it's gonna take a little time. Okay,
Anything else?
that's all I see.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, show of right hand. Item number 1 is the budget. Last time we had,
Chairman, y'all gonna have to go back and vote on waiving the reading of the minutes.
sure are, you didn't,
I move we waive the reading of the previous minutes.
Second.
all in favor, show of right hand. Okay, now we've already approved the agenda. Now it's the budget. Everybody's had a copy of the budget. Are they, any discussion? Any questions? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to accept the budget.
I'll make the motion to approve the FY 2024 budget.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor, show of right hand. I whisper lease. I think it's $100 a year. We talked about it in the work session. We need to either motion to approve it as extended or new contract, $100 a year for
A month.
$100 a month, excuse me, yeah.
I'll make the motion to approve the iWhisper lease contract for $100 a month. I think we were all in agreement, so that to not give them sole rights to that tower, though.
Okay.
I'll second as stated.
So they would not have it,
They won't.
have sole possession of it. Okay,
I don't think they need sole possession.
okay, all right,
Okay.
I'm with that.
We got a motion and a second, all in favor, show with right hands. That will require writing a new contract. Okay, the
Sorry, Avery.
health broker of records. I explained that a while ago. This is giving us wards, okay.
He's trying to get us out
I'm
of here.
trying to get done. I'm trying to move fast. Item number 3 is the Wars appointment. I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Garrett Brubaker to that position.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, show of right hand. Now we get to the health broker. Okay, as I explained a while ago, this is just somebody to administrate our insurance for the county. We want to change brokers, and we need a motion.
We probably need in the minutes, this is, you would be appointing NFP, which is formerly Shaw Hankins, and our account manager would be Todd Hooper.
Okay,
Who?
Todd Hooper,
And they're out of,
Cartersville.
okay. Other guy was from Atlanta area.
What was that company name?
NFP,
we need a motion to change our brokers to NFP.
I'll move that we change the broker to NFP.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, show of right hand. Motion carried. Permit fees. You've got a copy of what the permit office would like to move these up, the rates up to. And I think it's fair. I think it falls right in line with the other cities and counties. And 22 years is a long time not to have an increase.
Yes.
I make the motion, we accept this as written.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, show of right hand. Motion carried. Say that word again, Eric. Circle. For the county to accept that road. It's, need a motion for the county to accept it.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, show of right hand. Motion carried. July 3rd, taking off, closing the county offices, July the 3rd. And if employees would have to use a vacation day for that day.
I'll make a motion to approve July 3rd.
Second.
All in favor, show of right hand. Motion carried. Tallapoosa 4th of July fireworks request. It's a $500 request, help pay for the fireworks, July the 4th.
I make a motion that we accept the request for $500.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, show of right hand. We can move ahead and do number 10 and then come back up to number 9.
Okay.
Okay, this would be the voting to give drug courts, the family treatment courts, the 40% that that we would pay, and see if we can get Polk County to pay their 60%.
And that contemplates that if they don't, that we'll revisit this.
this.
Okay.
Yes.
And the appointment for drug task force.
10,000 for
Yeah,
drug task force.
10,000. And this money comes from the opioid settlement. It's not tax-paid money. This is settlement money where the government sued the opioid companies. And
I'll make the motion to approve those allocations to the drug court, family court, and drug task force.
I'll second that.
all in favor, show of right hand.
And I believe y'all talked about the, if Polk County doesn't, we'll come back and revisit.
We'll revisit that.
Okay.
If Polk County does. I feel like Polk County, I have spoken with some of those commissioners. They realize they've got a drug problem. I think Officer Sweat can relate to this there. I think they're gonna help with anything drug-related. We've got a problem, they've got a real problem.
Well, they just recently have come back into the drug task force, right?
I make a motion that we move into executive session.
Second. Reference to. For purposes of.
Reference to personnel matter.
Second.
Well, land and property and personnel. Okay. We got a motion and a second, all in favor? We're in executive session.